Most guys think they're eating like athletes, but they're not. They're eating like the fans. And here's a quick contrast so you could visualize it. The general thing that I've noticed is that most average lifters are reactionary. They don't have a planned out meal for the day, for the week. While pro lifters, if they haven't meal prepped, they know exactly what they're gonna eat. They have like 2 to 3 options for every meal of the day, and that's how the setup is. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly how to eat with predictability so that you'll get the goals that you want and ultimately just live like your body matters. Let's get into it. What's up, you guys? Coach AJ here from Anatomy Bar, and I want to help 100 guys this month get in the best shape of their life. Every month, it's a new goal for you and for me to make sure that you are seeing the results that you want. Now, today we're talking more about how pro lifters eat and how you don't. What you eat is going to be the main cause for how you look, okay? And it can go two ways. You could be eating not enough or be eating too much. Most people are eating too much of the wrong things and not enough of the right things. Let's break it down a little further. As I referenced earlier, most lifters are eating reactionary, while pros are more proactive. Pro lifters are more so planning based off of what the outcome is. So if they know I'm hitting the gym 3 times a week, or 4 times a week, or 5 times a week, whatever your frequency is, their meals are supplementing their activity based off of their end goal. So, really quick, most overweight people are eating too much carbs, too much fat, too much processed food. In addition to that, they're not lifting enough weight. They're not active enough. They don't have a high enough NEAT score or non-exercise activity thermogenesis, right? They're not moving enough, so therefore they're accumulating more body fat. If your goal, for example, is to drop body fat and build muscle, you need to make sure you're in a caloric deficit and having a decent amount of protein. Now, that doesn't just mean just going out and ordering from your neighborhood store or whatever, or ordering off of Amazon, or ordering, I don't even know, because I don't order food much, I don't even know what people order food from. What is it? Grubhub? There's a bunch of them, right? Seamless, that's the one. This is just how often I don't eat out. I cook most of my food or have most of my food prepped because I know food equals fuel. Pro lifters know food equals fuel versus how the average guy looks at food as like a reward. Ooh, I've been working hard. Let me eat this burger and fries. That's more of a strategic cheat meal for me, right? Because pro lifters don't ask, what do I feel like eating? That's going to be more along the lines of, what is my activity level for this day, for this week, for this phase, right? I've talked about training in phases before. We want to start thinking about, what is it that I need to eat to get to the goal that I want? Because at the end of the day, it's, if you look at it scientifically, it's input versus output, right? If I eat like this is the result that I get. And this is how most of the pros will structure not just their food, but their lives. Average lifters are going to be more reactionary. They're going to say, what do I feel like eating? And that's oftentimes not going to get you the result that you really want. And so what you'll start to realize in this aspect is it's very mental. A lot of the stuff that we do in life, it starts up here, and it starts with an identity. Who do you identify as? Do you identify as like the pudgy guy who's got a few extra pounds around your midsection, or do you identify as the athlete? Do you identify as the guy who is the guy's guy, who other guys want to be, who the women want to be with, right? Because you're going to then structure how you move through life differently based off of how you see yourself. Not to get too psychological, but a lot of the times it starts here. A lot of the times, even if you try to stick to a diet, you're mentally not even committed to it because you still see yourself as that guy. In another video, we'll have to discuss the mental aspect because it's a huge variable. So let's break it down the next step in terms of the actual structure versus chaos. So think of it like this. Where most guys are eating emotionally based off how they feel, pros are eating strategically. Pros are going to break down the timing, right? The frequency, the quantity, right? How many carbs, proteins, fats am I getting? How are my macro and micronutrients? They're going to consider all of those variables because it matters. Pros are going to eat 3 to 5 times a day to have that regular protein intake just flushing through their system, while the average lifter doesn't even think about their protein intake. Pro lifters are going to think about hydration and recovery. Average lifters are probably dehydrated and think drinking soda and coffee adds to the water content. It kind of does, but it really doesn't. Pro lifters are going to think about their pre and post training rituals, right? What are you doing before the gym? What are you doing after the gym? Is your body primed for the work that it needs to be done? And are you going to recover properly so that you can come back stronger next time? Average lifters just go in and start lifting stuff, aren't fully warmed up, and then they just leave. They don't stretch, they don't foam roll, they don't do anything, right? They just, I went to the gym. And that's good. Don't get me wrong. Let me just say, I'm not trying to shit on nobody who's going to the gym consistently. I'm actually just here to see if I can help. Because I could imagine what I would feel like if I was still going to the gym and not getting the result I want. Actually, that was me for years. I wanted to build muscle and I couldn't. I'm at around 190 now, and I used to be at like 150. Okay, so that's a big difference for me. And if you were a slim dude, we're in the same boat. I then took it to the deep end and went to 215 pounds, just to give you guys a little background. And now I've realized that though I was strong as shit at 215, I did not feel good. I did not, compared to where I'm at now, where I can run, I can sprint, I can climb a flight of steps, I can bend and tie my shoes. And that was a big thing. I noticed because my stomach was so big that when I would just tie my shoes, it was like uncomfortable to fold and compress my stomach. Breathing was harder. And I was only 215 pounds. So for my guys who are 250, 260, 280, you guys got to bring that weight down, right? Unless you're like a football linebacker or linesman, you don't need to be that big. And that actually brings me back full circle, where a lot of the times we're eating as if we're supposed to be that character, but the activity level doesn't support it. Even though those football players are big, they move a lot, right? They're kind of healthy. They work on their stretching, their mobility, but that's a whole nother conversation. Let's bring it back. The main thing I want you guys to know is that you don't need perfect meals. You need predictable ones. And that structure, that the pro level, it comes in the form of meal plan, right? Meal prepping, knowing your macros, having that structure. Know every day for breakfast, I'm either having a smoothie or an oatmeal bowl, for example. Every day for lunch, I'm either having this or that. Every day for dinner, I'm either having this or that. And you could change it week to week, but that's generally the tendency that pros will have. It's really about that predictable input versus the outcome. And the real difference I want you guys to really take away here is the clarity, the knowing that pros have versus amateurs. For example, most pros do not track every carb, protein, fat. They know it intuitively because they've been doing it for so long. I have a scale somewhere over here. Yeah. I literally have a food scale that I used to use. Very simple scale that I used to weigh everything out. And I recommend it to everyone at one point in their phase, in their fitness journeys. You got to know it's a journey, it's a lifelong path, but everyone should have some sense of awareness of how many carbs they should be having, how much protein, fat, all that stuff, and then be aware of how it makes them feel after having it. And then that positive loop starts to come into play, because it's like, I weighed out my stuff, I saw the weight loss, I felt good, great. Let me continue to do that to continue to get the results that I've been getting. Versus eating McDonald's, for example, feeling like shit, not knowing what to eat, and then you just go to it because it's easy, and then you're in that negative loop of not feeling great, maybe skipping a workout, gaining body fat, but trying to still work out from time to time, trying to have a salad from time to time. And that's really not the loop that I want you to be in, or that you really want to be in yourself. And so the polarity here is, pros might focus on making sure they're getting all the nutrients that they need. They might have supplements, while amateurs are generally just getting simple fast food with empty carbs, low nutrient density foods, unfortunately. And if I could put a rapid fire thing so you guys can see the contrast, it would be like this. Pros prep, amateurs guess. Pros log, amateurs forget. Pros recover, amateurs restart. Pros adjust, amateurs complain. It's not so much about having talent and genetics. Big variables, don't get me wrong, but it's more about having systems and self-respect. It's really about the awareness, because pros know exactly what they're going to get out of the meal and how it's going to affect them. And the big takeaway here is, you don't need to eat like a pro level bodybuilder. That's really only for that level of discipline, because you're competing on stage and you want to compete at that high level. You simply just need to stop eating like a civilian. Stop eating like a fan. You need to be the star in your show. You need to be the MVP in your world, right? Eat like that. Because at the end of the day, your meals are either building you up or kind of blurring you out. You're not going to have as much definition. You're not going to have enough strength, not as much energy. You want to optimize your nutrition. And at the end of the day, eating clean isn't just about salads and restricting yourself. It's about precision. It's about being intentional. Now, if you're done guessing and you want to know what to actually eat to see the results that you want, hit the link down below. Take this short, simple quiz or get my nutrition guide. Both will absolutely help you get from where you are to where you want to be. And my closing line is eat with intention, train with purpose, and live like a pro. Till next time, let's raise the bar.